Hey everyone, it's pretty windy. It's a chilly day, but this week it's gonna be a bit warmer. We're gonna try camping again in the treehouse. I had mentioned last year that I would love to put a little wood stove in it. So we gotta make some sort of trail, bring some bricks out to put on the floor in there. Gonna get a piece of sheet metal over one of the windows. But in the time being, because tomorrow's gonna be a bit warmer of a day, the trees are gonna start running. So we're gonna start tapping a bunch of the maple trees here, and maybe we'll get enough syrup by the time we're done camping in the morning to make a little tiny batch of it, just enough to make pancakes one morning. So we're gonna try tapping this one right here. All right, we got that one out of the way, so we're gonna start tapping a couple of trees. The temperature today is right about freezing, but the rest of the week will be perfect. We have a couple days that are gonna be 50 degrees or 10 degrees Celsius, and at night, it's well below freezing. You want those fluctuations to get the syrup flowing. So we're actually gonna try putting 2 buckets on this tree because it's the biggest and best one in the area. Then we're gonna tap a bunch of other trees in the area. So the first thing we gotta do is drill a hole, maybe 2 inches max. It's below freezing, so it might not start dripping today. We might have to wait until tomorrow. Wow, that's a brand new drill bit. That went real fast. Nice and tight. Get the handle out of there. Crimp it nicely. Sit up on there. Wow, the last time I was tapping trees, it was much colder out. This cut so well today. I have pre-drilled holes in the bucket. Now, this is just so impurities don't get in as easily. This is going to go over the tap. Make sure it's closed, because sometimes when the weather goes up, the hole might get bigger, and if it falls out, you don't want to lose your syrup, although I've never had one fall out before. All right, we're about to tap the other side of the tree, and look what I'm noticing. What is this tube coming out of the tree? Did somebody tap it a long time ago with that and just leave it in there? Because you can tap a tree with just about anything, but you shouldn't be leaving it in there like that. All right, this side, maybe we're going to try down low a little bit. And look at that, everyone. We even have a spider friend that's interested in the maple production. Oh, that wind just blew him away. Oh, there it is. There it is, coming back over. Very curious spider. Look at this, everyone. This side's about to start dripping. The warmer weather will certainly help. Can you see that in there? Do you see that dribble? It's about to come in here. I hope you're able to see it with this sun angle. There's a drip about to enter the bucket. So I have really, really good hope tomorrow when the temperature really gets up. Yeah, take a look in there. Do you see it in there dripping or about to? Mm-hmm. All right, let's go tap a bunch of other trees. Hit the trigger all the way. Like that? Yep, keep going. Bring it in and out a few times to clean the burrs. Maybe, yep. Yeah, you should, hit the trigger as fast as it goes when you're cleaning it out. You're done. Don't be digging more. Just get the stuff out of it. If you think it's good enough, that whatever's in there is not going to hurt you. Okay. Yep, that's all you got to do. Okay. Now, what's the next step?
Tap.
Yep. Got to put a tap into the hole.
Do I use
Yep,
a hammer?
you can use the hammer to hopefully not damage it more than whoever last did that. Yep. You want it to be very snug where you think the bucket's weight can't pull it out. Can't do it?
No. It's too hard.
Alright, I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna hand it back to you. Got to cut out a piece. You want to keep the curve in it, keep it 90 degrees like it is, and just cut it out.
How big, like this?
Yep, cut it out. Now it's going to be more difficult for you because now the hose is colder now that we're not in the sunny part of the yard. Now you got to make sure that cover's on there completely. All right, this maple tree isn't even in the sun and it is doing fantastic. Look at that. We're already getting sap out of it. That is nice. And you see how it goes on loose sometimes because of the way the hose is crooked? Well, simply you're just gonna have to jam it on like that and make that work. There's a little bit of messing around with it and that can hold a lot of weight. So yeah, we're gonna get some syrup out of there for camping in a couple of days, definitely. And we're just gonna wait a couple of days to put this camp together because we gotta gather a few parts. All right, we're actually gonna put a second bucket on this tree also because it's going so well. If you have a tree that's more than 8 inches, you can put more than one. Just gotta space them a little bit, and even different heights is good for the tree too. Oh yeah, this tree, it's coming out like oatmeal. The sawdust is so wet. Oh, it's already dripping down the tree. Yeah, this tree is gonna be a good producer. Yeah, that hole is going really good. Look what's dripping out of the tree already. Oh, this tree alone is the best one of the day. Watch, it's gonna be dripping out of the spigot within a couple seconds. Yep, look at it coming out. It's already like a little faucet. Look at that. You can't taste the sugar. People always ask me how bears and other animals don't mess with this. It's basically water until you concentrate it. It's a 40-to-1 ratio. You need 40 gallons to make a gallon of syrup. That's why animals cannot smell it. Nice. That is going very, very well. Both of these are going very, very well. All right, everyone, it's the next morning. The snowbanks are very, very tall, so we gotta walk over here. Gonna slowly make a nice trail over there. Today, we can walk on top of the snow. Yesterday, we were sinking pretty deep. because it got really cold again last night. And when it got really cold, all the trees we tapped have stopped dripping. We got a couple of inches in them, it'll thaw. Today's gonna be considerably warmer of a day, 47 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 8 degrees Celsius for the high. Tomorrow's gonna be even warmer. Tonight's only gonna be about -2 or -3. Now, nobody has been up here in the treehouse in a year. So let's see if it's still safe. It was sketchy last winter, so I thought we'd make a couple more camping videos before it's demolished. There's too much to exactly fix. You can't trust that railing there. The stairs are slowly crumbling, but still solid enough, hopefully. If I'm gonna walk up here with some very heavy bricks to put a fireplace in. There's a lot of snow up here, more missing and broken railings, some animal tracks. Coming on up in here. We'll have to seal this doorway off. When we were in here last year, we had to scoop up all kinds of debris and poop from animals. There's already some debris in here. We're gonna have to sweep again, put down a new tarp. So we'll probably keep this window here shut, and we're gonna put sheet metal over this one with a hole so we can put the wood stove in here. So we should probably put the stove here and sleep here. I remember this was very tight last time for sleeping in. I know all my comment section was saying, because I thought it was raccoons, everyone was telling me this was likely porcupines. They like chewing. Look at that. They went almost completely through that 2x3. And a bunch of other ones have marks, water staining. You can still probably see some poo up here from all the animals living in it, because this went abandoned for nearly 15 years. Outside here, the deck is completely rotted out. It's got like a little porch. This massive tree is still alive, but the branch that's actually holding the treehouse is kind of rotten. So that just says that even if the treehouse was to be repaired, it's not going to stay up here forever. So yeah, we got to get a broom, and we got to start walking out here with the fired bricks, wood stove, a new tarp for the floor. Yeah, another reason this place is gonna have to be torn down eventually is it still smells like a zoo in here. It doesn't smell great. It's actually horrible smelling in here. It's not pleasant. Like, the condition of this place is in such bad shape, I don't even know if I want to invest in closing this up tonight. Like, see, this we're gonna nail shut so that it can't keep flapping like that. That tarp is good enough. This door shuts. The one thing is this, there's a lot of air getting out of there, so maybe we can find some towels and just jam them in there and then washing machine them when we get home. It's windy and I can feel this thing shifting and creaking around, but I guess that's just because the massive tree that it's in is shifting around. We shouldn't really be afraid because it's been here for over 20 years, but let's look down below and I'll show you how rotten the branches that's actually holding us up. Yeah, it's creaking is scary. That's the tree, pretty healthy. It's acting as a giant sail. So we're hearing a lot of creaking down here from what's going on up there. Now we look down here, See where the tree splits? This entire part of it's dead, which is holding the treehouse. It's full of bugs, woodpecker holes. Yeah. But this thing had 3 feet of snow on it about a month ago. A couple warm days has reduced us down to maybe a foot on the ground. This has a black roof, just about nothing up there. All right, everyone. These bricks are pretty heavy and cold. Let's get them over to the treehouse. All right, everyone, we got one more big brick I gotta move. It's heavy, I gotta walk slow, and I can no longer walk on top of the snow because just that brick makes me heavy enough to push through. I'm just glad we weren't doing it about a month ago when there was 3 times as much snow. Here we go again. Well, we don't need these. The snow's not deep enough. All right, I got this stuff. We're using this aluminum flashing here is what's gonna cover the window. And this stuff is so thin and soft, you can cut a hole with regular scissors in it. Got a new tarp for the floor, bunch of nails. I'll come back out here with a scissors and a hammer. Now this is the wood stove we're gonna put in there. I grabbed that from the truck camp. Sleeping bag. This will have to be washed after the camp for multiple reasons. Treehouse is nasty. It's probably gonna smell like smoke. And if you see this sticky residue, there was an energy drink in here rolling around while I was driving. It somehow must have hit something sharp. All over the doors, windows, ceiling, all over the truck. All right, I'm not going to show myself walking backwards for more than a second there. So that's kind of difficult, but at least the sled is going over all my footholes without any problem. The only reason I didn't put the bricks in my sled is because I don't want to scuff it up too much. I'm trying as hard as I can, but I got a little bit of snow in my boots still, even though it's not up to the top. It was called rushing with those heavy things because I wanted to put them down so bad. All right, we'll grab this stuff in just a moment. Now we gotta go up here and nail in the new tarp over the nasty floor. Then we gotta put those bricks, one for under the stove, and I was thinking one for the wall, or maybe they both can go under it because that stove doesn't seem to get that hot. Alright everyone, I did a pretty good job here. This is where the sleeping bag is going to be. And all the nastiness is sealed out. Right there by the door, I nailed it flat. Back here by the stove, I tried to keep it away from the wall. Over there doesn't really matter. Just over here, all the nastiness is sealed out for now. And we'll be washing the sleeping bag and everything. I gotta get some towels. We're just gonna jam towels up there, I think. That'll seal it off. Or who knows, maybe it'll get too hot. This stove is actually my best one I've ever used. All those little stainless steel ones for hot tent camping are awful. This big cast iron one for hot tent camping is actually great. Look at that, the wind is getting underneath here because the door is open. I bet it'll be even more creaky when the door is shut because we're blocking all the airflow. I blocked this one good though. Oh wow, it is even getting more windy now. Let's try to get the stove up. Yeah, so you see over here, we just did it flat, nothing up against. We could have. There was enough there. I just rolled it up and stuck it underneath itself. So we got to get the stove up here first before I can determine exactly where the hole's going to go. Knock my boots off. We don't need any extra water up here. That's the heaviest hot tent stove I've ever had. We're gonna need to find a little shim, but that's okay. Every time I've operated this thing before, it doesn't really get that hot. You can even pick it up by the legs when it's burning. So now we gotta open it. That's the fire pick, the firebox scraper tool. Here's our pipes. That's the chimney cap. Don't know if we're gonna use that one or not. This was stored in my truck camp. Look what's inside it. Can you see that? I'll show you up close. So anyone who's been watching my truck camp videos knows I always have mouse traps in there. Well, somehow the mouse managed to enter through there because this is always stored shut. I don't think they can fit through those holes. There's a mouse nest in there. Look at that. This mouse has been transported almost 600 miles from my house. Come on out, mouse. That's a stubborn mouse nest. Look at that. Fire will burn the rest of that up. Mice always seem to find me. Anything else? I think we're good the rest of the way. So I think maybe we'll get away with 2 pieces of pipe before the 90. We need all the lift we can get because we can't really mess with the pipe on the outside because there's no way to get up here. We don't have a ladder. Now I know these pipes go in a certain order. And these fit together seemingly too well. Okay, this one goes on the bottom because there we got our damper. Oh, look at all the dust and rust. Okay, where's our 90? I think that'll just work. Does everyone see how the window's propped open with the stick? I want it up higher, away from the pipe. Now it is sheet metal time, and this is gonna fly open. We'll rewind it later, whatever we don't use. Be very careful when opening sheet metal. It's going to try flying open, and it is sharp enough to cut you. Whoop, there we go. Don't let go of the roll. Thankfully, this is just aluminum. It's not going to want to fling open like if it was steel. Okay, here we go. It wants to open. Let it do so slowly. And this is so thin because it's aluminum, you can cut it with scissors. And we're going to cut it a little bit large, and I'll show you why. It's also got soda all over it. Like I mentioned, we had that explosion in the truck yesterday. Now the leftover, I'll roll it back up, and I have duct tape in my truck. Now I cut it a little bit big because once we nail it on the studs, I'm going to cut, and fold to cover up the gap of the studs. Now we got roofing nails here. Now we gotta straighten it before I nail it tight. Everyone, I'm now realizing I probably should have just let the metal go to the floor for the back of the stove. So I'm going to add more when I'm done. Now I'm cutting some so I can fold it over like that. But first I need to cut down the center to make the hole. Doing this so once we get the pipe in there I can snug it up. Nail doesn't want to go in. That's like, I might have hit a knot. The pipe didn't fall off. The thing holding the window came down, and then the pipe fell off because it went down on it. Okay, we'll fix that when we're done banging, I guess. It's probably easiest. So I was thinking, I just don't like how that chimney is like a little bit taller than I want it to be, but we can't really cut those pipes. I think we're going to use the sheet metal to cover those holes right there, actually. Right now, before we work on anything else. I want to get all the banging done. So we need 6 pieces that are not that big. All right, we did that well, and we sealed that up very well too. Now it'll be a lot warmer in here now that there's gonna be no gaps once this door is shut. Now we gotta work on that chimney, and I'm gonna show you what happened. So those are 2x3 studs, very thin, which means the wall flexes a lot when you're hammering. So our pipe fell, the stick propping the window open fell. So now, carefully without cutting myself, I gotta reach through that hole and reprop that. And no more banging. It should stay up this time, hopefully, because I have no way to get out here and support the pipe any better. Okay, so underneath, there's the pipe. There's the stick that was propping the window up. Let's go back upstairs. Yeah, this is a challenge. Oh, come on. Don't want to have to rip this metal off because it's not going to come off in one piece. It's so thin. I don't want to stick my hand through while doing this, because if this stick slips, I'm gonna probably be hurt. Yeah, I'm scared to stick my hand through there, because this window I don't think is gonna stay up. It felt solid, but banging, no. And the wood stove moving around, I don't know what to do. Seriously, what else was I supposed to do? Honestly, the pipe probably moved and hit the handle. The pipe probably, because look at this. That's how it comes from the factory. And it's actually designed to just go be a 6-foot tall chimney. Maybe we'll try only one piece. Oh, these are always hard to get apart. I bet it fell on it, pressing it together. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. And I don't know how to get that apart. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll come apart when the stove starts heating up. Metal expands when it's hot. And we'll just use this one up here. Are any of these shorter? Nope. Okay, second time around, I'm doing it with only a couple nails so I can easily take it down if that happens again. Put this in the recycling bin. Okay, so that certainly has enough drafting height. I got pricked once by the corner of it, but amazingly I didn't get cut at all with all that sheet metal. So the only thing I don't like about this setup is, you know, how high the pipe is. I wish one of those sections was a half section so that it wouldn't be so close to the wood, because that is going to leave soot on that, but I don't want it starting a fire. How do we lower that? How do we have it not be as high? Because that is concerning, honestly. How do we get that window off? I think I can cut the window off because look how it's attached. It's attached with carpet. I think we should just take the whole window off right now. And this is why I'm only using a couple nails, because we don't have more sheet metal to waste. I'm bending the head of the nail, it's just not wanting to come out. Yeah, there's no way I'm reaching it from outside. This got to come off again somehow. And I really can't afford to break it. That's strong, I'm not going to rip it. What a pain in the butt this is turning into. Good enough. All right, that was a little challenging, but good enough. It's got a couple inches from the wood, so we would notice it starting to singe or burn well in advance. And we're gonna keep the damper kind of low, do some cooking in here. Got the floor kind of dirty with rust and ash from the fireplace, but that's okay. It's okay. We'll be on the sleeping bag. Sleeping bag is black on the outside, so it's not gonna get dirty. And we're gonna wash it. Now it's time to get the sleeping bag up here. Then we gotta go collect a bunch of firewood. Okay, it's open. Hopefully the wind goes away for tonight. All right, everyone, now we got to go into the woods and try to break some dry branches off of the low trees. All right, everyone, in this section of woods, we have a whole area of dry stuff. We're going to break branches off the bottoms of dead trees. Some of these dead things that are stuck up there, well, I'm going to try knocking down and cutting up little logs with the saw. And we're going to time lapse this. Probably take a little bit. We want to get more firewood than we think we need. And for maybe the overnight hours, we'll try to find some pieces of hardwood like maple or oak, because that'll bring you all night. This evergreen stuff that you're seeing here, pine, It'll start the fire very well. It'll run very hot, but you got to supply it very often. So here we go. All right, everyone, we got a good load of tiny kindling, bigger kindling, some bulk stuff. Now we got to go get some actual pre-split firewood for the overnight. Now we've got to select some pieces of hardwood from the woodshed that will fit in the stove like that. This actually might fit if it wasn't frozen to the floor. Some of these smaller pieces I think might fit, might have to be cut in half. We'll try to find smaller pieces. Like some of these we might want to just saw in half because that'll help us through the overnight hours. All right, everyone, we got this out here. Shortly, we're gonna start a fire, and then we're gonna cook steak for dinner. We still got maybe 2 hours before the sun goes down. Checking on this afternoon, and they're still dripping. The other tree's not, but this one is. I think we'll have just enough to start a little boil tomorrow morning. Just enough to have maybe enough for 2 pancakes. It still hasn't been warm out on this side of the tree. It's still a pretty chilly day. Only a slightly above freezing today. Tomorrow's the warm day. By making trips out here back and forth, we've actually made a nice trail. Look at that. It's only gonna get better the more we walk it. The snow is now very soft, no longer hard like it was in the cold morning. I got a thermometer and clock. That's why I was hammering random nails on the wall, if you saw that in the time lapse. Now we gotta make a fire and start cooking. That roofing nail's too big for the clock. All right, the roofing nails are not gonna work. That one went on fine. The roofing nail head is too big for the clock, so I gotta try to drive this in pretty deep. That one is nice. There we go. All right, everyone, now we got to start cooking in here. I got these steaks. Actually, like a week ago, I bought so many steaks because they were on sale. Look at that. Look at the sales price. Filled up my whole freezer, about a good amount of them. So we're probably only going to cook 2 of these things, but this stove will actually heat up fast. It's not thick metal like one in a house, and We got like 3 inches of space before the wood, so I don't think there's going to be a problem at all. That actually looks better than it looked before. But now we got to go down and get some kindling, some larger stuff. And we should be able to cook those steaks fairly fast. Then we'll bring the other ones back to the house that we're not going to eat today. We'll try to keep the stove running nice. Look at the amount of rust chips that came out of the chimney. I haven't used this thing in like 2 years, but I used it heavily when I did. Alright everyone, now we're going to try to get the fire going. There's a little bit of mouse nest in there, which will actually help with kindling. Now we got these tiny little branches that I broke off the bottom of trees. The best stuff to start your fire. We're going to put a little bit of paper towel underneath it. This will get these going. Usually you can use birch bark, but as you can see in the woods, there's really no birch trees out there. Try to load the firebox up a bit with these. There may be a little bit bigger stuff here. And sweep up the floor with my hands and just throw it in there. Bigger stuff in there up on top. Okay, the damper's all the way open. Let's try to start burning while we're throwing stuff in there. This stuff is dry, so hopefully it goes. There we go. This piece is green. It'll make smoke for a minute. That shouldn't be in here. It's not drafting yet. It will in a moment. Now we're starting to catch some of the wood finally. And that heat hopefully is going to make it go up the chimney. Actually, thinking back to when I used to use this, I think this damper from the factory isn't lined up correctly. I feel like the position is wrong. I've been using it in a couple of years, but yeah, I think when it's showing half, I think that's full. The damper, I think, is a little bit off. But it's going. That caught good. Let's throw a couple bigger pieces in there for all that to catch up. Hopefully we can make some heat. Thank you. That's definitely enough for now. Or do you want to keep bringing it? It's going a lot better. Let's just crack the door if we can. Yeah, I have to figure out the damper because that damper I know is not working great. There's a position that it's not supposed to be in. This has always been my favorite stove. I guess we can shut it. Now it's drafting fine. All right, everyone. Now we're airing out the smoke. Well, at least trying to. That window just blew back shut. But, yeah. Look, there's no more smoke coming in. It's a good thing I took that apart before it got too hot. Yeah. There was another mouse nest in there that I didn't realize. I even said I thought it was going to burn out. But heat didn't get up the chimney before the smoke started backing up. But now we're actually running perfect. Nice and hot, and we can probably start cooking now. You see, it is a little bit hazy and smoky in here, but with the door open, this should clear out fast. I'm glad we sorted that out now and not in the dark, because we're actually running okay now. All right, everyone, I just walked around back of the treehouse just to show the chimney pipe where it's coming out, because from the other side, the window's blocking it. But yeah, we're actually running good now. Wow, we're running clean. There's not even any smoke coming out of it now. We're doing good. You can see a ton of heat signature coming out of there, but we're actually running good. So today it is slightly above freezing. Tonight it will be slightly below freezing, so we're gonna have a good time, I think. Wow, everyone, it got hot in here fast. That little wood stove does not need to run full blast all night. Definitely not. But we're gonna run it full blast while we're cooking. Okay, let's get cooking. All right, everyone, we got some non-stick spray for the frying pan. This is as hot as it will ever get. Now let's start heating this up. Nice and greased. Ooh, it sounds like it's got snow on the bottom of it. It went. Now it's time to select some steaks. Let's cook the two bigger ones. We'll save the two bigger ones for another night. They fit nicely. Oh, it's getting windy and scary. This tree is creaking. This whole place is shaking right now. Okay, they fit. They fit. We don't have a cover for this, so we're just gonna do that. And we also don't really have a way of controlling the temperature of the stove either, other than maybe putting a shim. Oop, the window is about to slam open and shut. Clean that meat juice off my hand as best I can. Maybe I'll go wash it, my hand in the snow a little bit while that's heating up. Let's go over here and make sure this window stays shut. You see that window just shuts with a little stick. You just jam it in there. We're gonna have to check the weather forecast tonight and see how windy it's gonna be. This tree above us is starting to get scary. Imagine that the whole tree house falls down and then the glowing hot ash is all over us. This is my old reliable stove. It always works great, even if it's installed a way that it's really not supposed to be. Can't believe those mice caused us to smoke out for a minute. Well, I should have removed the nest right off the bat. I thought it was gonna burn. Now I'm just adding some more big stuff. We're gonna shut the firebox door so it can slow down the burn a little bit. And when the door's open, this part of the stove is actually cold in the top compared to the back, but now when it's shut, it'll more evenly heat up our food. We are driving the neighbors' dogs nuts with all this noise that they don't really expect. The sound of sheet metal twisting, hammering, smoke. Now they can probably smell food. Now we got some smoke coming out of the pipe now that we have shut the door, snuffing out some of its air. It is still sunny out, just very, very cloudy. Look at that outside there. And touching here, got 3 inches of clearance. Not even warm. This is working good. The joints there aren't leaking because when the wood stove is running, any little crack or joint in the pipes is under suction. We can also add more air, see? Here, we have it running at half, which actually helps it be more efficient as far as the wood. How's the steak doing? I think we should turn the heat up, actually. This is not as hot as it was. Ooh, look at that. The smoke from outside just got blown in through the door. And it just blew the cover off. Well, we're about to flip that anyways. That looks like it's about time to flip it. And then we're gonna make this in a little pot. Some peas and asparagus, mix it in there together. Now I think it's actually time to flip over the steaks. Looking pretty good. Slow cooking them too. This stove is doing a lot better than I thought it would. I thought it was gonna cook fast and even burn it, but it's slow cooking it, so it's gonna be really, really nice and tender in here. Fire's going good. I wanted to give it a little more air just so it could get a little hotter. The only flaw with this chimney system, it's working fine as you can see, but if there's a big gust of wind that blows into the pipe, as you can see is a little bit of, yeah. Whoa, it's so windy outside. You can feel the whole treehouse swaying quite a bit because that tree up there's like a sail. But when the wind stops, this is running nice. No leaks. But because the pipe is out like at a 90-degree angle, it catches the wind and forces it down here if there's a giant gust. No big deal though. We got some steak seasoning here. That's all we needed. Time to cover it back up. All right, earlier you saw that this chimney pipe section fell on the ground and so I couldn't get it apart. Now that it's almost too hot to touch, let's see if we can separate this. It didn't expand enough. Oh no, how are we gonna get that apart? It can't touch that more than a second. Yeah, that's fused. We're gonna have to figure that out at a different time. I don't know. It is now starting to smell very, very good in here. This is now running a lot hotter. It smells really, really good. I'm gonna cut into one of those in like 5 minutes just to make sure it's done. I think they will be. This is very creepy how much this thing is creaking and swaying. It's gotta be swaying a couple of inches, but it's enough to be scary. And the temperature in here went up quite a bit. Look at that, 55 degrees in here. Yeah, temperature rose a bit. Before I dump these, I'm gonna have to drain them a little bit because with the liquid, I don't know if it's gonna fit in here. At least have to drain the peas. Let's drain them out the door. Here we go. Asparagus. Peas. Oh, it did actually fit. I didn't think it was gonna fit in there. We'll just stir that around a little bit as it's cooking. And we'll make the stove cool down a little bit too. Now I think it's time to cut into one of the steaks and see if it's done. Pretty sure it's done. Let's shut this so it starts producing a little bit less heat. Alright, now we're going to cut into it. These steaks are going to be good. Look at it. It's got all that nice fat on it. And they were discounted almost half off. Ooh, that looks perfect, actually. Look at that. It looks medium rare. It's got a good pink section. Yeah, I think that's done. Okay, it's time to eat. Let's get this up on there. Let that heat up for a little bit. Perfect. Yummy. Alright everyone, we got some paper plates, so when we're done we can just throw them into the fire, put them down, and here's a steak for you. Get that out of there. And a steak for me. Look at all that grease. When that solidifies, we can just pour it outside. Some animal will love to eat that. But we'll let that cool down a little bit first. Now it's time to start eating the steaks while we wait for the vegetables to heat up. And every now and then we'll stir them. Let's eat. Wow, listen to this. That's the most creaking from under the floor I ever heard. It is creaking so much. But it did withstand 3 feet of snow on the roof. Now there's just about nothing on the roof because it's been warm out. But it's not a big building. We probably weigh more than that snow did. And with the extra bricks, the stove is heavy. We're actually getting more smoke in here that's just coming back in through the door from the outside. We got some crazy winds starting up right now. I don't know about you guys, but this is like the perfect steak for me. I love medium rare. Or well done too. Doesn't really bother me as long as it's tender. We gotta stir that a little bit too. And we gotta eat some room onto our plates. That's probably already getting there. No, that's still cold on the top. I'm a rough cutter, so I'm gonna need another plate for the vegetables, which are done now. Warmed up nice. Look at all the juices that came out of them, because I drained those earlier. Yeah, the asparagus really shrunk too. Alright, let me get some asparagus, some peas, and dump the rest over here. There we go. That's just good. Alright. Even her plate, it leaked through, and she wasn't even cutting that hard. I was cutting very hard, and it leaked through a whole ton. So we gotta open up the wood stove, make sure the smoke is going out. Oops, I opened it too fast. There we go. Throw that plate in there. I gotta wipe up that steak blood. At least it's cooked steak blood. And we're gonna be washing the sleeping bag and everything tomorrow, so that doesn't really matter. Oh, that's flaring up a lot. Look at that grease burning. Nice. Alright everyone, I'm just gonna clean the grease before it solidifies because it'll be a lot harder to clean. Alright, we'll clean that better after. We can throw this into the fire. That'll flare up fast. Alright everyone, we're gonna see how hot it gets in here, so I'm gonna shut the door. Ooh, the door warped a lot since last year. Oh, it doesn't even want to shut. Uh-oh. Hopefully it doesn't lock us in here. What's wrong with it? Last year I had to cut a little bit of this with a saw to be able to get in here. The treehouse is slowly sinking, it looks like. It's getting stuck on that again. You know, we got the handsaw up here. I actually have to cut that right now. All right, so this is only half the problem here. I still don't think it's going to shut. I think I actually have to shave a little bit of the door on this end. No, it's actually cutting. Now we got to shave this side, but I can't because there's 2 nails in it. Will it shut good enough where we can get out? No, it literally won't go over this, and I can't shave either part because they have a nail in them. But what if I lift it a little bit? You know, we're going to be making so much heat with that. It's honestly probably okay if we leave it cracked. But at least we got it where it actually almost shuts. So, it's not necessarily the treehouse sinking. It's a little of both. As the treehouse goes down, the ladder's going up because this is independent. This, you ever see a barn door, how it has these cross members? This doesn't have it, so I think the door is actually sagging too, a little bit. The plywood shouldn't be sagging, but something is. That's what I think it is. But at least it shuts. Let's get it shut as much as we can and start the fire back up. Yeah, I don't think it's going to shut anymore, so we'll just have to deal with that. It's already so hot in here, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal. All right, here's the greasy paper towel. Let's throw more sticks in here. Get this thing going hot again. We only have about an hour left of daylight. The door just opened, but boom, that didn't slam as hard as I thought it was going to. All right, I gotta actually slam that door now. And we might have to kick it open after. Ooh. It's just not gonna shut. Treehouse is settling a lot. Look at that. The flames are making it up out of the chimney right now. All because of that greasy paper plate that we got in there. We are producing a tremendous amount of heat right now. And look over here. We have now made it up to 55 degrees Fahrenheit or about 12 degrees Celsius in here. Doing pretty good. It definitely feels a lot warmer than that right now. We also got the door right there that won't shut, so it would get a lot hotter. But the air isn't coming in here because I sealed that up pretty well. If that was open, we'd have a constant draft coming in there, but because it can come in but can't leave, I don't really feel anything. This is going good. Scary. That's actually coming apart right there. We're gonna shut this to reduce those flames, and I need to use my tools, and I have to grab that real quick. I got it. But I didn't like seeing that happening. It is really hot in here now. Especially up by the ceiling here. the ceiling is really, really hot. So what I want to do is, oh, it has even gone up in temperature since I just showed you. Now it's reading 14 Celsius and 58 Fahrenheit. That is actually climbing really, really fast. But I want to grab this. I want to put it up here. And I want to see what it says in a couple of minutes. All right, everyone, we've been sitting in here for about 10 minutes, and honestly, the temperature in here is starting to get unbearable. I feel like if that is correct, I feel like it's getting unbearable more from radiational heat onto our skin, more so than the actual room temperature. Because it's now saying that it's 22 degrees or 80 degrees. And it feels a lot hotter up here than 80 degrees. And down here, I bet you this is gonna drop a whole ton. Let's get that back on the wall. There we go. Maybe give that a little bit of time. Give it 5 minutes to fix itself, and then we'll open this door back up. Burning good. All right, everyone. It's been about another 5 minutes, and I think it's a lot of radiational heat. Because up there, compared to here, directly in front of the wood stove, we now have the thermometer, and it has actually gone up. It is actually reading even hotter, and I think it's just conducting heat from the stove. But that being said, we have got to open this. It's so hot in here. Nice. That is refreshing. We still have about maybe, honestly, this time of year, maybe another hour of daylight. It is March 10th, 2025. This time of year, the days are already starting to get long. Yeah, we probably have close to 7 o'clock. Because in the summer, we got close to 9 o'clock. Days are getting longer. Days are getting warmer. The snow is leaving. Oh yeah, I want to go outside. I kind of want to look at the roof. There's no insulation. I wonder how much it's dripping. I do see a couple drips off the front there. I bet you by morning the snow will be off the roof. Now this, well, those steaks were pretty filling. We're going to go give this to the chickens. Stay warm for quite a while. I've made hot tent videos. This stove is reliable. It'll stay warm throughout the night. We're just going to shut it for safety because we're not going to be in here for a few moments. We're going to step out, and we don't want a spark to just fall on the floor and somehow light that pile up. I've got a surprise for you, chickens. Oh, they ate every piece. Today they actually came out free-ranging in the driveway. Oh, there's a little piece of steak. They actually had some strips of steak that we couldn't finish last night. We had steak last night too because we had discount steak. Okay, everyone, who's gonna come back down? They all thought it's bedtime because it's starting to get dark out. But oh, she's the most friendly one these days. This little black chicken. She let you pet her. She'll follow you around. Want to jump up on your lap. Oh. Mr. Roo came down. Seagull came down. Who else? Oh, we walked right in the food. I know they like it. They've had peas before. Maybe they're a little too tender now that we cooked them. Okay, charcoal came down. Who else is going to come down? Pretty is tempted. Cheeks is tempted. Oop, Cheeks just came down a notch. Big Egg White's up there probably for the night. I don't think she's going to come down. I also don't think One Eye and Parasite. Parasite maybe. One Eye, I doubt it. She's still sitting down. Ah, here comes Cheeks. Oh. Here comes Pretty. Parasite's thinking about it. Big Egg White, I also see thinking about it. But one eye is still sitting down. I don't think she wants to come down. And no one's even eating it today. Oh, wait. Cheeks is loving it. Look at that. Cheeks is loving it. All right, we got to count everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, everyone's here. And we're going to lock them in for the night. Oh, here comes Parasite. Oh, that's a surprise. I'm surprised One Eye came down here. She usually doesn't come down for these late night snacks. Look at Big Egg White, I think she's going to have to make an appearance. Because she's the only one up there. They like to stick in groups no matter where they are in the yard. Yeah, they're liking it. They're liking it. That'll be gone pretty soon. I think Big Egg White will come down. All right, good night, everybody. We see you in the morning. We'll have to come back out in the morning because their water will freeze. Their heated bowl broke down, and I just don't want to spend the money until the spring. All right, everyone. It's now dark out. We got the wood stove going good. We're going to go out and, with our big flashlights, go over to the truck and get the snowshoes. We got to be careful. It's now below freezing. The wood stove is still making heat, so it's dripping right here and immediately freezing. These stairs, which had melting snow, have now turned to sheer ice. Everywhere that looks wet, that's black ice. Very, very slippery. We got to bring more wood up. Those bigger chunks we're going to throw in right before bed. The stove's being pretty efficient. We're kind of running it at the minimum because it's not that cold and it's honestly baking us. All right, everyone, it's pretty dark out. Look at that. So now we both have the 200,000 lumen world's brightest flashlight. That's what you look up on Amazon if you want to buy it. Not sponsored in any way. Okay, this is a low setting on that one. Now you see, this is also a lower setting. Now we're both going to double click it. I'm going to double click first. Oh, you went first? Okay, that's 200,000 lumens pointed over at the treehouse. And now me. That's 400,000 lumens of light. World's brightest flashlight. It'll light up an entire football field. Look how far away it lights up. Extremely bright flashlights on this extreme setting. It reflects back on the snow. Actually gives you a headache after a while. That powerful setting, it'll go about 20 minutes. On this lower setting, what do I have it on now? I have it on 4,000 lumens. It's still brighter than the average flashlight. On this setting, it'll go maybe 2 hours. Still awesome. This is how I walk around with it in the woods on 4,000 instead of 200,000. But it goes lighter. It goes all the way down to 400. And on 400, I believe, or maybe it's 80. The lowest setting is like the typical Walmart flashlight, but it'll go 300 hours on that. It'll even work as a power bank. All right, everyone. I'm going to put on snowshoes. So it has a little tightener over here on the side. You want to crank it as much as you can, but you're still comfortable. Click it through the hole. And then it's kind of slid back. I got to slide the buckle forward. Clip it. And then this handle, I'm just going to pull. And it tightens them. And when you want to loosen them, there's two little buttons that release. And now that allows you to walk on the deep snow. Because parts of the property still have 2 feet. Like we're about to go in the woods where the sun hasn't really melted much. We'll put the other one on. Tighten it there. Get it through the little hole. Find the buckle. It's kind of hard to find it at night. And this one. And good, we got the nice ice cleats on the bottom. Oops. Big feet. Yep, put your boot in. Yep, tighten it, and see, this has to go through the hole.
Oh. Ow. Hold on.
Yeah, you don't need the flashlight. Yep. And then put that, nope, just in like that. And now the front part here, yours are actually a little bit different. Okay, yours aren't like mine with the handle. Yours, you gotta do them separately. That one was already tight. And they might have to be tightened more as you walk. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with this type. Now, where's your other one? Now push your foot forward as much as you can. Good. All right, everyone. So now we're out here walking into the woods. These snowshoes work great because it's still warm enough that we would be sinking. The snow hasn't crusted up. Just taking a look at this bucket. Oh, yeah, this tree is running. Look at that. This tree's been running good. There's not much in there, but the weather also hasn't been super favorable yet. Tomorrow is like the first favorable day, and nearly every day in the forecast is super favorable for the foreseeable future for syrup. Very warm days, cold nights. Perfect. Look at this, we got human tracks, animal tracks. These could be the same kind of animal. One of them may have just melted open a little more. Look at that. That's the biggest tree around. See, way up there. Look at that, the white pine getting stuck in the balsam fir. That actually looks nice. It looks like tinsel on a Christmas tree. This section of the woods is beautiful. It's got a nice open area for walking. We got some tracks coming up. What are they gonna be? There's a variety of trees here. You got the cedar tree, the light one there. White pine, balsam fir. So this here is deer. Let's look at the shape of it down there. And it's deer. Maybe two of them. Now down here, it's like a swamp. So basically everything is cedar. Cedar loves being down in wet areas. It likes wetland. Everything here is cedar. This right here has got to be the biggest aspen tree I've ever seen this far north. I've seen quite a few of these down south a little bit, but they typically don't get that big up north. Aspen is a tree that's pretty soft, the wood. It's horrible for burning and it rots so quickly. All right, everyone. We're heading back, and it is actually colder than they forecasted, and I wouldn't even have noticed because we're working out. It doesn't feel that cold. It's actually 20 degrees Fahrenheit or -7 Celsius. That's a bit colder than they forecasted, and it's not even 10 o'clock yet. That's what happens when the measuring places are closer to cities that generate heat, act like a heat sink from the sun. When you got tree cover, even if you're next to a city and that's where you get your temperature forecast from, it's always going to be a bit colder out. Got to get the wood stove fired back up. We've been gone a while. Hopefully it fires right up. We're going to hang this thermometer out here somewhere so we can just peek out at it every now and then for reference. We got the moon up there. It's not full, maybe 3/4. See if we can zoom on up into it. It's not going to show up on camera that it's not full, but it's not very dim. Oh cool, the nail on the porch was still there from last year. Nice. Those dogs aren't used to people making random noise in the middle of the night, are they? The clouds have cleared. Now you can see stars and you can actually walk around without a flashlight. Look at this. This is no lights at all. We can see pretty good out here. All right, everyone. We got it going good in here. Outside is way colder than it was supposed to be. It is 18 degrees or -8 Celsius. And here on the inside, we are exactly freezing because the stove kind of shut off when we were gone. It's now after 10. Just threw some more wood in there. It quickly caught up. Going very good. This should provide heat nicely. And now it's time for popcorn. Open it up. Just like that. The stove is hot enough now that we just keep shaking it around on there. Throw that into the fire. And let's start making it. All right, I left it on there for a moment, and now you can really hear it. You couldn't hear it before because there's so much butter in there. I can hear the butter starting to splatter in there. Gotta keep shaking it. This thing's pretty hot. I think we're gonna have popcorn very quickly. It's finally starting. I've never done one on a wood stove before, but if you had like an open flame of a kitchen stove or an open campfire, it would go a lot faster. This isn't as hot as a regular cooktop, but it's finally going. Oh yeah, awesome. It's going good now. I think we're almost done. Just like a bag of microwave popcorn. Once there's many second gaps like that in between pops, it means take it off before you burn it. Now in a minute when it cools, we can open it up. I used to do this all the time with my grandparents as a kid. I wasn't doing it, but I was watching it because it was something very interesting for all the grandkids to watch. This is only the second time I've done it as an adult. And it's interesting. That's why I bought it. It's interesting. We just gotta let that cool for a minute and then we'll rip into it. So even turning the fire up, we've only gone up a single degree in the past like 20 minutes. So let's see how much we can get it up in here with the door shut. Honestly, it doesn't even feel that cold even though it's at the freezing mark because we got jackets on and we are still very close to the fire. Not as much as it's going to shut, but maybe we'll put a bungee cord on that right there and tie it off to make sure it doesn't open when we actually go to sleep because we're not going to get it completely shut. But at least it'll get warm in here. The wind has 100% gone away. The scary wind is completely gone now. All right, everyone, we're going to tear it open now. Look at that. These are always extremely buttery. When you buy it at the store and you shake it, you can't hear the kernels because they're encased in like nearly half an inch of just butter at the bottom. Look at that. Yummy. We gotta sweep this up and get more wood up here.
Mm-hmm. This smells like Monster Energy drink.
Yeah, we gotta unravel this sleeping bag. It's already got a little bit of energy drink on it because I said that can exploded in the car earlier. And it's gonna be smoky, smelly, and we've gotta wash it regardless. So the temperature's gone up a bit. Look at that. It is 50 degrees in here, or 10 degrees Celsius. Doing good. We'll get another temperature check outside before we sleep. We gotta sweep this up, but first we want to get the rest of our collected wood up here so we don't have to leave in the middle of the night. And we gotta keep that thing shut so it doesn't shoot sparks. Hopefully a spark doesn't go through those holes. It's unlikely. I don't want to wreck this sleeping bag. But every now and then we might have to load it up if it gets too cold. But again, that's a very cold weather sleeping bag, so we would be absolutely fine without this. In fact, this might make us overheat, and we may even just let it shut off until it's time to cook breakfast. Because this is actually heating this thing perfectly. There's really no point to this thing being on tonight with such a cold weather sleeping bag, so we might just let this thing stall out or run it very, very low. I've already closed one of its dampers, and that'll make it slow burn, not producing too much heat. This was a hard one to cut. That is a very, very solid piece of wood. Whatever kind of tree this is, I think it's cherry wood. You see it's even got that pinkish appearance if that it's not showing up on camera. But it's very heavy and hard to cut. Look at that, everyone. That's nothing but moonlight. Got a little bit of smoke you can see coming on out of our window. All right, everyone. Now we're gonna add a little bit more wood. Add some chunks in there like that. And then I think the moment we go to bed, we're gonna throw that thick piece right there in. So it doesn't take much to heat this place, so just that little bit is good. Just want to make sure that pipe is nice, good. Now I gotta sweep the floor so we can set the sleeping bag up. Alright, now I'm going to take my boots off because I don't want to make the floor wet or gritty again. It should be dry overnight, so I'm just going to... I'll put them behind the wood stove. That'll be okay. Alright, it's all clear if you want to come up. Just try to take your shoe off when you come in. And just put them behind the wood stove. Then we can open up the bed. Outside. Stand upside down. Nope, that's actually the right way. Fits. I don't know why this felt so cramped last year. This year feels like we have a lot of room in here for some reason. What did we have extra? We'll have to go back and look. Maybe it just felt more claustrophobic because it was dirtier last year. All right, everyone. We just got the door shut. It's not going to shut anymore. Good. All right, doesn't have to have too much tension on it. Alright, that should be good enough. Did I bring my brush or did I forget it? Did I forget the toothpaste and all that? Did I?
No, you didn't.
Alright, everyone. It's time to brush up for the night. We'll throw one more thing on the stove, then we're going to go to sleep. Time for bed. Let's put this big dense piece in there if I can make it fit. That'll probably singe all night. I don't think it'll make it to morning. I'm not exactly trying to make it last until morning. It's possible. We're putting the high quality hardwoods in it now. It's possible it'll go until morning. Do we need it to go until morning? Not necessarily, because it's already hot in here, and this is a big sleeping bag. I'm going to take our jackets off, and when you're watching the time lapse throughout the night, you'll basically know how this thing is doing. The camera's going to be there, but you'll be able to see this and just keep an eye on it. See if it goes below freezing while we're time-lapsing. Good night, everyone. Alright, this begins the time-lapse. And yeah, that big flashlight, I've never used it as a power bank before, but it is indeed charging that light. And that light for the camera, it's only on 2% because, you know, it's hard to sleep with a very bright light. It doesn't bother me too much, but get this off. I hate hoodies that don't have a zipper. But I do like the Bigfoot on this one. Gotta shut the door now. We opened it for spitting outside. So it probably will go up on the temperature. Is that our room? Is that both of them doing it? Alright everyone, it's now morning, and this sleeping bag here, it unzips completely around itself into two pieces because it won't fit into a regular washing machine in one piece. And this kind of material here, it's not going to go through a dryer very well either, or wash very well. So in two pieces, you wash it as if it's like two comforters, one at a time. So we're going to do that because it's sticky, it smells like smoke. I got this thing going. This thing had completely died out overnight. I was, if you could tell in the time lapse, I was waking up every couple of hours. It wasn't because of the cold. It's just kind of uncomfortable, the hard floor in here. But this thing caught. I got it going again in just a couple minutes with all our dry wood. We're going to go collect some more bigger pieces because we're going to start boiling syrup. Got it going good in there. Nice. Got to start some laundry with this. We've already got it up to 40 degrees and climbing, or 5 Celsius. Time to take a look outside. Last night, it did get a little windy for a while, again in the middle of the night, but it has already, again, calmed down. How are we doing outside for temperature? We are way below freezing. It doesn't feel like it, though. Outside, we are at about 14 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 10 Celsius. And today's supposed to be a warmer day than yesterday. Today's actually supposed to be a very, very good maple production day. But even the past couple of days, it just being slightly above freezing, we got enough syrup. That's all we're going to collect, because these trees aren't going to start flowing again until the temperature gets above freezing. We're going to go collect them. It's probably in ice form, but we're going to melt it in here in a frying pan and boil it in a frying pan, because a bigger surface area, you get sap quicker. Then we have a really, really big pot when we eventually get enough syrup, and we'll make a video of that probably in a couple of weeks, because now we'll be able to start collecting it very quickly. All right, everyone. Now we're over here to one of the trees, and we're going to take whatever sap we got. It's probably just going to be a bunch of ice right now. We're going to bring it and boil it. I don't think we have very much because we haven't had a very favorable day, but whatever we can get, we're going to boil it. All right, this is the bucket that I'm going to take and steal. I'm going to go around to all the trees, pouring it into this, and then we're going to pour it into a frying pan and boil it off. I can't believe it didn't freeze. Maybe it's the sugar, because all the puddles in the driveway froze. Gonna open that up. We got about an inch in there. Oh yeah, we'll have enough of it to make syrup for one batch of pancakes. Oh yeah, we got another inch in here. Look at that, the sun's coming up. The sun is coming up. All right, this one has barely enough to cover the bottom because it's in a darker part of the woods. We're not even gonna touch this one. It's not worth it. Okay. Now that I look closer at it, it's actually slush. It turned into like a slushy, while every puddle out here on the driveway has just completely frozen over. I guess it's the sugar that makes its freezing point possibly lower. Now we got these 2 buckets over here to try emptying out. Nothing. I don't think it's been warm enough. Nothing out of these trees. I don't think it's been warm enough, despite those couple drips when we put them on. We still got enough, I think, for a serving of pancakes. Oh yeah, look at that slush. Ooh, the stuff I'm splashing on the stove is immediately evaporating. Now you can smell the syrup when it splashes and immediately burns. I can only fit half of it in there, so we gotta wait for that to boil down before adding more. But at least we can maybe heat this up and get rid of the slush by just placing it next to the stove. In the meantime, I can clean up all the tools and stuff we don't need in here. Hey. All right, those bigger logs there should go for hours while we go look for more wood. There's actually a bunch of wood right here underneath the treehouse that we can break up and bring upstairs for the boil. So you see here, you can even see the different color in the bark. This part of it is actually completely dead. There's a lot of dripping water. It's still melting a lot of snow off the roof. It's still way below freezing. The snow is unpredictable here. It's just crunchy enough to hold you up. Now that it's been cold out, but now that the sun's coming out, the snow is going to become soft again. Oh! It holds you in random spots. We haven't yet hit the freezing mark yet, and it's almost 10 o'clock. I say around noon. We got more wood. We might have enough to complete this boil. It's starting to turn yellow. Eventually it'll turn golden brown. Once there's enough space, we'll put the rest of it in there, let it boil off. Fire's running hot. Look at the difference just having a fire makes. Inside here, it is about 46 degrees or 8 degrees Celsius. Outside, it is about 20 degrees or -5 Celsius. All right, everyone. This is actually burning a lot hotter than it ever did yesterday. We're running it at full throttle with some good hardwoods. We have now boiled that down by half, I think making enough room for the rest, because I want to get this back on the tree before we go above freezing and start wasting it on the ground. Okay, the boil has just slowed down because I'm adding some. Yes, it just fit without overflowing. All right, we're going to get this bucket back on the tree. It's boiling a little bit faster than I thought it would. All right, it's back on the tree. That's the exact same bucket we just used. Way over there. Now, it is nearly 11 o'clock. It has got a lot warmer in here. It's now about 60 degrees in here, or 15 Celsius. Outside has yet to hit the freezing mark. I think we'll do so by noon. My prediction was probably about right. Inside now, since we added that, I'd say we probably boiled about 50% of what we need to. So another hour, I think we'll have some syrup. The fire's dying out a little bit, so I gotta add a little bit. Gonna add, these slabs have been burning very, very good in here for keeping the fire hot. There's one slab. Here, nice piece of birch log. I gotta get it raging again. Throw another log in there. Those hardwoods are producing a lot more heat than this evergreen stuff. This right here is also not the best. This is a piece of aspen. Guess it's better than the pine, but still not the most favorable pieces of wood. Almost ready for pancake time. It requires milk, requires some eggs, and some oil. These slabs of maple have been working great for supplying a very, very hot fire. We're boiling maple sap using these maple planks. There we go. Just throw it in like that, give it a minute, and it will be just completely super hot again. That stuff catches fast and it burns really, really hot. That smoke looks really cool. But yet, it's burning pretty clean outside the pipe. I just threw more in. It's going to take a moment to catch. I just threw more in. It's going to take a moment for this to catch. In the meantime, I bet it is. Yep, it is smoking up a storm out there. Look at that. Yep. All right, a couple minutes later, it combusted good. The smoke outside has just about stopped. I've been keeping the firebox door open because it makes more heat in here for us. But now that the flames are starting to race up the pipe, that's not a good thing either. So we're now going to shut it. Come on. I can't shut it. Gotta try to give that, yep, got it out of the way. That just caused the flames to actually go up the chimney even further. But now we got it shut, and if that isn't enough, we could shut the dampers, but I do think just shutting it is enough. All right, it's 10 past noon, and no, we did not hit the freezing mark quite yet, but very, very close. All right, now I'm trying to run this thing as hot as possible because towards the end it starts evaporating slower because it's becoming so thick. It is glowing red in there and we're running out of firebox room. It's just full of glowing ash. I wouldn't be surprised if you could see the outside of this glowing if it was dark in here. But we're almost done, almost pancake time. And you see, it really is not going to be enough. It's going to be like a serving size. That's it when we're done. Okay, I don't see it glowing anywhere. I made it as dark as I can, but it's so hot. We got to open that up. We're still hovering right at the freezing mark. All right, everyone, we're just about done. So it took over 2 hours. This is about what we're going to get for syrup. It's maybe got to boil another 5 minutes, thicken up a tiny bit more. But that's all you get out of that. There's a few impurities in there. Nothing dangerous. If that bothers you, you can strain it. But that's okay. All right, everyone, it's time to come off. This is the critical time where you could overcook it and it will turn into actual sugar crystals or maple candy. Some people want that. If you don't burn it but overcook it, you can add water and reduce it. You can reverse your damage. Now you see how it's starting to suds up. Just give that a minute, let that settle down. We are done, and we're gonna put it into here. It's barely gonna fill it, but now we're gonna make some pancakes. Okay, and you see the suds are going away. Look at the suds going away. Now we got our container, and this is what we have produced. Enough to try it. Not barely even a single serving, but we will each get to try it on a single pancake. So that's what goes into it. It's about a 40-to-1 ratio. And you see this part is kind of thick. I'm trying to get every drop I possibly can out of here. All right. What do you think? Can we cook with this? Or should we clean it out? We can't get the rest of that out of here. Hopefully this doesn't solidify or something in here too much. All right, everyone. The pancakes require some eggs. Do we have any? Did they give us any? There's one right there. Now, if you're noticing, these guys are locked out of the other coop. They have access to the other coop, excuse me. That's our most friendly chicken right here. Yeah, the roosters were fighting today. That's why one is locked in the coop. If that continues, we'll get rid of one of them. And here, I'm assuming they may have laid an egg. Big egg white. Oh, you're dust bathing. Ooh, look at that. Big puff. Okay, I only see one egg out here right now. Yesterday we got 6 in a day. Guess we got to go to the refrigerator. We have a couple dozen. They've been producing like crazy this past month.
So we're going to use this that we got at the dollar store, pancake and waffle mix. And it says to combine 1 cup of milk or water and 2 tablespoons of oil and 2 eggs with a whisk. So we got 2 eggs from the chickens. We got our oil and we got our milk.
And that.
I wasn't done with that.
We just used it.
There we go. And 2 tablespoons of oil. Let's just eyeball it. It looks like 2. And now the recipe says we add 2.5 cups of this mixture to the mixture we had. So that's 2 cups. Now we're gonna add the 1/2 cup.
That's good enough. Time to mix it up.
I think it's good now.
Yep, good enough. It's getting really hot sitting over here by this thing. All right, ready for the pan? Get some non-stick spray. Think we're ready? Pour some on in. The stove's a little crooked because it warped from the heat years ago. Just make 2 small ones just so we can try out the syrup.
Ooh.
Because that's all we got enough syrup for, is really a couple. Then we can make the rest of it without syrup, and maybe even the chickens would like to eat some of this in exchange for eggs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those are ready to flip. Be careful. Yeah, that's not bad. That one actually looks like a piece of toast.
There.
Alright, everyone. They're done. There's 1. There's 2. Now let's try that syrup. You see, it took a lot of sap just to make that little bit. Ooh. Homemade maple syrup. Hopefully we have a lot more coming. This was a day of production on bad days. Now we have a whole week of good maple days. Yep, it was enough to try it out nicely. I don't know if you want to let this drip. I purposely left it all in the corner. Hopefully more comes out. All right, everyone, I just really wanted to add making maple syrup to this video, and we did. Not a lot of it, but enough to give it a try. Let's see how it is. I haven't made maple syrup in 3 years. The last time I made it, the syrup was actually much darker. It's darker the later in the season. It's lighter right now because the maple sugaring season has just started. It's arguably too early. I like it. All right, everyone, the leftover batter we're gonna make one gigantic one, and we're gonna offer it to the chickens. How are we gonna flip this gigantic one? I don't really know, but I don't think the chickens are gonna care if it's kind of messed up. All right, everyone, I'm gonna try flipping it. This is a big one. It's not gonna flip, I don't think. It's too thick. It's okay, the chickens aren't gonna care. Let's just brown that up for them a bit. All right, that's been on there a little bit. Let's see if we can flip it. It's still not cooked. I don't think the chickens will mind. Scrambled pancakes, just like a scrambled egg. Wow, this is a disaster. We don't have enough heat, that's the problem. This stove does not cook very hot. Yeah, this has been in here over 10 minutes and it's not doing too well as a big pancake. Alright, I think this is done. Let's go bring it to the chickens. Oh, that is what I've been smelling burning in here. Okay, everyone. We have some pancakes for you. We're gonna let you back out and see if you can behave now. Come on out. Everyone's gonna get a chance to eat. Excuse me. Come out here to an open area. Do you like it? They kind of like it. One, two, three, four, five. There's 6. Where are the other 3? Do they even know there's food out here? They're missing out. Where's everyone else? I bet they're dust bathing. Huh. They're nowhere to be seen. They're obviously out free-ranging somewhere. They'll come back. They stick in little groups. Oh, no, no. They rushed into here now that I have opened it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they're all accounted for now. All right, we're gonna have to lock you back up if you keep fighting. Because that's the only one getting hurt in these fights, so that one's gonna keep getting locked up until we eventually get rid of it, if this keeps up. They got along forever, and this is not gonna keep happening. You're going back in there. Because you're the one fighting back, actually injuring the other one. Nope, you don't peck me, you can stay in there. That one won't hurt the hens. All right, everyone. It's now the afternoon. It feels nice and warm. I don't have the need for a jacket out here anymore. The sun is so strong. Now that we're starting to get closer to summer, it's lunchtime. Let's cook up something. Then we're gonna start dismantling camp. All right, everyone. After doing dishes, we're back with the frying pan. Let that dry for a moment, and then we're gonna make steak. I don't think we even have to add more wood in here. The firebox is like half full of glowing red coals. Look at all those coals. Just trying to dry this off. All right, everyone. Now that the pan is dry from cleaning it, it's time for the rest of the steaks. Cover them up so they cook faster. All right, everyone, this fire is going a lot hotter than when we cooked steak yesterday. I think they're honestly done. They're still tender like they were yesterday. I don't think they're cooked through, though. Maybe a little more on the other side. We don't need the rest of these sticks because we're literally gonna clean up camp as soon as we're done eating steak, so I'm gonna dump all this off the porch and sweep it out. Alright, I'll clean that up better as soon as we get everything out of here. Alright, now, this is definitely going to be cooked. There we go. Get this off, let that start cooling down outside. Just going to drop it down in the snow. Ooh, look at that steam. Alright, everyone, we're done with the stove. We're going to let that cool down a little bit and then dump the ash off the balcony into the snow. It'll also make another big steam cloud. The steaks are done. A little bit of char, which is actually sometimes good. I'm drinking some milk, which is also good. That turned out nice. And it looks perfect. Perfect tender steak. This is still keeping us nice and warm. As soon as we're done, I'm going to use the fireplace gloves over here and just disassemble it while it's hot and just dump all the ash off the porch. Because nothing's burning anymore, it's just slowly smoldering down, the ash. That is still very, very hot in here. Current temperature, that's the hottest we've seen. About 66 degrees or 19 Celsius. Outside, finally above freezing. All gone. It's about to poof. All right, everyone, we tried separating this yesterday. It still is fused apart. As hard as you can, grip and try to turn and pull. That might be fused together for the rest of its life. We might have to transport it not in the stove. This is on there so tight. And it's got no way to separate it. I guess this is how it's got to be moved around from now on. Oh well. Alright, everyone. I'm putting the fire gloves on because we're going to take this thing apart and dump it while it's still hot. So we're shutting the door for safety. Open up here. Pull this apart. Let these things start cooling. See, there's no more smoke coming out of it. Then I'll sweep off the bricks, sweep off the floor, clean up in here a bit. We're gonna leave the bricks in case we do this again. We'll leave this like this in case we do this again. Okay, now we're gonna pick this whole thing up and try dumping it off the porch. I gotta come down here first. It's too dangerous walking with it. All right, everyone, we're finally dismantling camp. All we got to do now is sweep, shut the door. So we couldn't get all the pipes in here. This thing only took 5 minutes to cool down. It's still warm to the touch, but safe to transport. As a precaution, we just dumped a bunch of snow down on top of that hot stuff. Completely empty in here. All we got to do is sweep everything in here out of the door. All right, everyone, all clean in here. Get our light out of here. Try to shut this. Okay, it actually shut and latched. I did that with a lot of force. Okay, time to take this down. All right, everyone, we're all cleaned up, and I hope today's video was interesting. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.